and welcome to Giggles and Gays, the podcast where we talk about whatever we want to. I'm Alan.
I'm Larry.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're gay.
Gets gayer every time.
It gets gayer every
single time.
How are we doing, boys?
Doing well.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Well, you guys know what happens on Mondays, right?
What?
We talk about our man crush.
Whoa.
We talk about our man crush Monday.
Oh, wow.
Now, this episode, we are going to be talking about our lives when we were younger, you know, sometimes going into adulthood. But one thing we could agree on about our younger days was our man crush Monday, which is Uncle Jesse from Full House.
Ooh.
That's John Stamos, if you didn't know.
What?
But no, Uncle Jesse, he was super fun, super handsome, I thought. When he got rid of the curly hair, you know, when he had the, like, in the beginning episodes, the mullet-looking thing, party in the back.
Style then.
Oh, gosh, I was just like, okay, Uncle Jesse, can we move? But then, when he started doing Jesse and the Rippers, so hot. And then when he married Aunt Becky, and they sent their kids to college illegally. What? Who said that? What? But no, Man Crush Monday, Uncle Jesse. So, as I already said, we're going to be talking a lot about our life when we were younger and, you know, things like that. Just, you know, that kind of stuff. But let's start off with a super easy question for everybody. What were you like when you were a kid? Like, where did you fit in? What was your group?
I was a dork. I was a nerdy dork. And I loved all of the nerdy dork things. Cartoons, superheroes, video games. And, like, this was before it was, like, cool to like any of that stuff.
So pre-Big Bang Theory and pre...
Yeah, pre
kind of
the nerd culture. It was...
Did you just roll your eyes at Big Bang Theory?
I despise.
Oh, us too. We both don't like Big Bang Theory because...
There's so much that's good about it, and then they ruin it.
Absolutely nothing good about it.
It could have been, I think, it could have been really good, but then they...
It never should have left the...
Explain everything, and then...
The thing.
What thing?
The thought bubble.
Oh, I was like, was it somewhere else? I don't remember
Wherever
that.
they make up show ideas, it never should have left
Someone's brain?
No, they have like a... Like the
Think
table.
tank.
Like the table. Like the table where they chop shows, it should have been one of the ones that got chopped.
I mean...
No, it's a terrible show. I don't want to get started on it right
Okay, so you were like the geeky, nerdy place.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was the one who was playing imaginary games at recess. Like,
I mean, we all played imaginary games at recess.
yeah, but all the other kids were, like, playing sports
He was
and
by himself
catching
playing
stuff.
it by himself.
Sometimes.
So I when I was a kid, like elementary school, that kind of like elementary school, middle school kind of thing, I felt like I was kind of popular, but I was also kind of nerdy because I had a lot of friends. A lot of people liked me. I mean, I only had like a core group of really good friends, but a lot of people liked me. A lot of people knew who I was, that kind of thing. But I also did band, so I was like a band nerd. But I was also on student council and like class, you know, officers and things like that. So I was pretty popular. But I remember in elementary school, I was really popular because I got the Power Rangers board game.
Ooh.
Power Rangers board game came with the Power Coins. So if you got a Power Coin from me, it meant that you were in my group and we were going to play Power Rangers at recess.
Oh, wow.
And if I didn't give you one, I'm sorry, but you were a putty patrol and that we weren't really going to play with you. I mean, I was probably a little bit mean too.
Yeah.
But I'm also an only child. So when you're an only child in kindergarten, you're this shit because your mom always makes the best stuff. And yeah, so that was...
I don't know. In kindergarten, my mom made all those... she would take the little, like, Whoppers and stuff and make turkeys and snowmen and stuff out of them. They were super cute and everyone loved them.
My best friend's mom did that. Trisha did that.
Uh-huh.
She would do it, but she would only do, like, specifically, I can remember, for St. Patrick's Day and Groundhog's Day, which was really strange. She would take Sprite and she would dye it green. And then she would also, you know, do, like, leprechaun thingies. Uh-huh. And then for, that one day with the not warthog. Why is warthog the only animal I can think of?
Groundhog?
Groundhog. For Groundhog's Day, she would make this little thing with candy, and then she would make it look like the groundhog saw the shadow. She did that from the time that Trisha was a child until she got all the way up to high school, and she did it all the way up to senior year.
Oh, wow.
I miss. You should ask Miss Sue about that next time you see her.
We'll have to be like, Miss Sue, it's Groundhog's Day. Are you going to make any...
Can you make it? What about you, Jeff? What were you like as a kid? I mean, I can already tell you were super nerdy and cool, right? In New Jersey.
Well, in high school, I was a varsity athlete. So, but I was also in band. So I would my core group of friends was like the band kids. Like, that's who I sat.
They're the best people in the world.
But I was also friends with, I don't want to call them the jocks, but the jocks. Because
right.
I was a varsity athlete. I had a varsity jacket all 4 years of high school.
Who touched you?
That was cool. But I definitely was a nerd the whole time.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with being nerds. I think all of us were nerds at heart. Like, you know what I mean?
There was
yes, but you know that there's such a derogatory remark towards
especially
the
when
word
we were all
nerd.
kids.
Yeah, when we were kids, being called a nerd was like you were shunned and put at a different table.
Yeah, like I could have sat at whatever table I wanted to, probably, but I sat with my core group of friends.
Well, yeah, because you have those core group of friends. Is anyone still friends with their friends that they had in high school and middle school and stuff?
You know, I keep up with a lot of them, but
I keep up with two.
Like, I mean, Larry knows that two of my best friends from middle school and high school are still my best friends today, and then we were all in each other's. Well, I was in Amanda and DJ's wedding, and then Trisha and Amanda were in my wedding. Trisha's not married yet, but you know, whenever she gets married, I'll probably be in hers.
I would hope so. Otherwise, there's something very wrong.
There's something very wrong. But yeah, no, I think it's cool when we keep up with our friends from high school and stuff like that. Not like everybody, but just your core group of friends. I know one of my favorite things in school was field trips.
Yes.
We were away from the school and stuff like that, and it was really cool. Jeff, what was one of your favorite field trips? Or least favorite, whichever one you want to do. It doesn't matter.
Memorable field trips.
We had a science center near us, and we went there one time, and they had like a this is
Telescope?
hard. No, it's a theater, essentially a theater.
Oh, okay.
But what they could do screens, they can like stream stuff, and we actually watched a live brain surgery with the doctor, and he was asking. We could ask him questions while he's doing it. And he was showing us the different parts of the brain. It was super gross.
Wow,
but he'd show us like the different parts of the brain. We watched him cut the skull open and everything. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
It was pretty cool.
No.
It was for my anatomy class in high school. It was a pretty cool film.
Oh, I was picturing you as being like in
No, it
elementary
was a
school.
it was a high school anatomy field trip.
Bunch of 8-year-olds. What are
But
you?
it was
Is
pretty
he
cool.
okay?
And you don't always get to see a
No.
live brain surgery or anything like that. So it was pretty cool.
It's like an episode of Grey's Anatomy where Dr. Bailey was tweeting during her surgery, like about the surgery, and it became like really popular, people talking about it. And the chief of surgeon was like, I don't want you no more twitting while you're in surgery. And she's like, okay, I won't twit anymore. And then she just continued to tweet. It was really funny. Babe?
Anytime we'd go to the zoo or the museum. And I remember being so sad because it used to be called the Museum of Natural History, and then they changed it to the Museum of Nature and Science. And I don't know why that like upset me as a kid, but I was like, everything's changing. And then we went for like, it was like an 8th grade field trip or something, and I was like, oh no, it's the same place. That was like my favorite place like ever to go as a kid, was a museum, because they had Prehistoric Journey, which was a whole dinosaur exhibit where you'd go through from the beginning of the dinosaurs to the end of the dinosaurs. And I wanted to be a paleontologist as a kid. I wanted to dig up dinosaur bones and discover dinosaurs and dinosaurs and dinosaurs. I was a dinosaur kid.
Don't let that stop you. You can still be
You
one.
can still be a paleontologist.
Until I learned that
they make a lot of money.
Until I learned that most of archaeology and paleontology is very boring. That you're not actually out in the field finding fossils. You're mostly just like, wow, we think this could have been a femur bone, but it could have also been a chicken bone from the KFC next door. So
Oh, God.
We're going to spend 5 years collecting funds to go on another dig in the middle of the desert. So, and I was like, that's less Indiana Jones and more the beginning of Jurassic Park.
It's not like Professor Hammond's going to come and be like,
Yeah.
here's all this money for you.
Yeah, do you want to get rich and see live dinosaurs? No one's going to ask me that.
No. Babe, do you want to get rich and go see live dinosaurs? Haha, I asked you.
Do you have lots of money that you're not telling me about?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yes. We're married?
What about you, Alan?
One of my, in school, I lived in a Soups rural, R-U-R-A-L.
He lived in the castle.
I lived in a royal castle. We didn't get to do a lot of fun things because the only time we could go anywhere, it had to be by bus, and it couldn't take more than an hour to get there, and then an hour to get back. It was stupid. Oh, it was terrible. So one of my field trips that I remember was kindergarten when I was younger. We went to Uncle Donald's farm. Was the most fun ever. I got to pet chickens. And I got to feed chickens. And I got to milk a cow. That was super fun. Or a lame one was when I was in 5th grade. Our congratulations on not failing out of elementary school trip was going to an airport. So they drove us to the Tampa airport that was being built. We got to walk around the baggage claim area.
Wow.
Yeah, we got to walk around the baggage claim area. And then we got to go on the parking garage roof. And we got to stand 200 feet away from the edge.
Did they give you peanuts?
They did not give us peanuts, but on the way home we got to eat our bag lunch at a rest stop.
Ooh. See, if we did,
So fun.
if we did an airport field trip, I don't think they're going to take a bunch of kids to Newark Airport. It
No.
just doesn't sound like a safe idea.
No, it didn't make any sense that we were going to the Tampa airport at the time because we weren't learning anything about airplanes. We weren't learning anything about structures. We weren't learning anything about what we saw. They just wanted us to see it.
We did actually have a really cool field trip too in 6th grade. This is reminding me of that. We had the 6th grade environmental ed trip where for 3 days we essentially went camping. And they would take us to, it was like a camp area. You go into the cabins, you stay at the cabins. We made apple pies, we went canoeing, we did all kinds of stuff. I forgot about that field trip. It was like a 3-day field trip too.
We were going to go to the YMCA up in the mountains for 3 days, but the year before, kids messed it up by behaving so badly that for we couldn't stay the night like they did. We had to come back at sunset, so we didn't get to do anything.
Yeah. We did environmental. We did campfires with the s'mores. It was a good time.
So fun.
S'mores.
Yeah.
When I got into middle school, we got to do more fun things because I felt like we were older. So we'd always do an end of the year trip to a theme park. So 6th grade, I remember going to Animal Kingdom. Actually, it just opened that April. God. Just opened that April. Mm-hmm. And I remember going there. But, we would get discounted tickets, of course, because we're a school group and stuff like that. I don't remember my 7th. I think we went to Busch Gardens. And then 8th grade, we also went to Busch Gardens. But I was also in band. So I was only allowed to pick, a couple of field trips my parents would let me do. I didn't go away from my parents on a field trip until, high school, when we went with band and stuff. That was pretty much it. And then my senior year we did our field trip, not field trip, but we did our senior trip to New York and Washington, DC. But they wasn't a whole lot of super fun in it. They made it very educational. Well, what is it? What is it? The West Village or the East Village?
It's fun going for tourism. If you're going, that's the thing. If you're a tourist going to New York because you're excited to go to Broadway and all these other things, yeah, it's cool. But when you live right near it, it's not.
Well, no, I mean, to be honest, there were things about that trip that I remember and that I liked. But to me, it was supposed to be congratulations, you're a senior. You've worked your entire life to this point. And this trip is supposed to be really fun. But But it was more super educational. And I don't remember a lot of the fun moments anymore. I just remember like going to the top of the Rockefeller. Rockefeller? Top of the Rock. Top of the Rock is what it's called.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the Empire State Building. But no, you can go to the top of the Rockefeller.
Yeah, we went to the top of the Rockefeller, but we didn't get to go where they do the ice skating.
Why? It's right there.
They didn't let us go.
Weird.
And it was just they let us go to Chinatown though. With no supervision.
It sounds like someone had ulterior motives for this whole field trip.
The field trip was planned by a company.
Oh, that's why.
They plan it, but they let us go to Chinatown as 18-year-olds.
I don't think I've ever been to Chinatown.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. I remember my best friend Trisha, she got this bag, but she had to go into the secret back room with someone to get the bag.
Okay, so this just went a lot shadier than I was going to go with it.
Oh, it was... and then you don't know how many 18-year-olds came... Huh?
Was there stuff in the bag?
There was no stuff in the bag.
Dang.
But there were so many 18-year-olds that came out... Actually, 17 and 18-year-olds who left that field trip with tattoos. And I was just like, you let us go to Chinatown unsupervised. This is not a school trip. And plus, they didn't fly us.
Yeah,
We drove from Florida to D.C., and then D.C., we drove to New York.
DC is fun.
We stayed in Jersey, though. There was a hotel, it was like Hampton or something, in Jersey. Probably, I mean, I don't even know what it was called 100%. But we stayed in New Jersey because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And it was closer to the thing. But no, I loved D.C., even though it was like completely like super educational. D.C. was wonderful. I thought it was great.
I love DC.
Like, I had a lot of fun going to the museums. And
I love the Smithsonians and all that.
Smithsonians are really... I would actually love to do a trip just to D.C.
Let's do it.
yeah.
Let's go, guys. Right
and
now.
then take the train to New York.
Yes.
We can skip that part. But
Yeah, but we can see shows.
But we could do the touristy
How about-
things in New York
What
City.
shows? There's nothing open.
All
No, I
of
mean
them.
when everything opens.
I guess I'll give you a tour of the city.
They're doing Mrs. Doubtfire on
I can
Broadway.
give you a tour of the city.
Hello.
Hello. That's why I say it the way I say it when we open this podcast every day. Hello. That's why I say it like
What
that.
was your senior trip?
Okay, so my senior trip, I in 8th grade, because our senior trip, I can't remember. I don't know if we did one. But in 8th grade, when they're like, congrats, you're going to high school, we went to Elitch Gardens. It used to be a Six Flags, but now it's just Elitch Gardens, and we call it Elitch's. But we loved that place, like, growing up, because it was like the other Disneyland of Colorado. Because the Disneyland of Colorado is Casa Bonita, and you've been there.
I love Casa Bonita.
Oh, I was going to ask Jeff if he's ever been there, but you've never been to Colorado.
Have I? Guess you'll have to wait a couple questions.
I'm going to bet that you haven't.
Okay.
And I'm going to also bet that you haven't been to Casa Bonita.
I've never been to Casa Bonita.
Okay, good. Which is...
Casa Bonita is great.
So, quick rundown. If you've seen the South Park episode about Casa Bonita, it's exactly that. Like,
True statement.
I'm not lying. I'm not a huge South Park fan, but when someone's like, no, you have to watch this, and it's Cartman describing, like, the divers and the Mexican food and the arcade and stuff, like, I was like, no, that's crazy accurate. But
The food was good. I thought the food was good. I liked
and
it.
the fried ice cream is amazing. And the
sister loves the fried ice
sopapillas. Anyway, we went to Elitch Gardens and loved that. It was like a theme park, but not. It was cool. I liked it. I wish we got more.
Where was your senior trip?
My 8th grade senior trip was to DC.
There's no 8th grade senior. There's 8th grade.
He said 8th grade trip. So my 8th grade trip was to DC.
Okay.
And my senior high school trip was to Italy.
Moving on. What was everyone's favorite subject in school?
We're not getting into that
Gosh.
level.
Oh my. That's where you drank for the first time.
Yes, it is where I drank for the first time.
Gosh,
Because I
no.
celebrated my 18th birthday in Venice.
I understand going to like a rural school, but that we could have done something like that.
It was because you only really had a senior trip if you were in a certain class. I was in AP Euro, and I was in Western Civilization. So if you're in either one of those types of classes or one of the art classes,
Right.
there were different options of senior trips you could do. There was one that went to England. There was one that went to France. and I think they all ended in Italy. But then there was one pure Italy one. Wow. So I did the pure Italy trip, but you had to pay for everything. Like, you had to pay for your plane ticket, you had to pay for everything like that. I mean, my parents paid for it, but that was like my graduation present, though.
Oh, right. No, exactly. I mean, we still had to pay for the trip. Like, I think it was like $1,500 or something like that. I mean, it was an expensive trip. I mean, when I was in school, but there was never any thought.
Right.
Oh, why don't we try and make this special and go to another country or go somewhere besides New York? It was just let's do this. We do it every year for the last 20 years.
Well, the Italy trip also was based off of what you were learning too. So it was all planned out too. It was one of those planned out ones. Mm-hmm. Like, we started in Rome, but we do all the tours. We go to the Colosseum. We do all that stuff, so we could see things that we just learned about.
Right.
Which was really cool too. We went to Florence. We went to Vienna. We went to Voltaire, right? Which is when New Moon was coming out too, and all the Twilight books. So they actually had New Moon gelato there.
Wow.
I kid you not. In Voltaire, they had New Moon gelato.
That all sounds...
when we were at Voltaire too, the coolest thing that we did was we had a 14-course meal at a farm. Where they just... And, like, the 14-course was, like, there's different parts. One course had different parts to it, but it was all farm fresh and all made there and everything like that. Man. And it was in, like, a little farmhouse and everything, too. It was really cool.
I'm very jealous of 18-year-old Jeff.
Me too.
He was still 17 at that point. He didn't turn 18 until he got to Venice.
Yeah, but you turned 18 on the trip.
I turned 18 in Venice. I celebrated my 18th birthday in Venice.
Okay, you talking about that and, like, all the fun stuff reminded me of the only trip I think I remember of senior year here. We went to Denver for a theater thing. It was like a 2-day or 3-day high school theater workshop thing where you went and you looked at different classes and stuff, and then you watched a play put on by, like, one of the award-winning classes. They did Urinetown, which was hilarious.
It is funny.
But I remember, like, and we had so much fun doing it, but there was one time where we were walking from, like, the place we got food back to the show, back to the place for the show, and we were walking down the street, me and my best friend Brett, and we were just walking, and these two ladies came up, and they were kind of scantily dressed, and one of them asks me, she says, "Hey, do you have a light?" And I was like, being the nervous 18-year-old I was, I just kind of looked straight ahead and out the ground. I was like, "No, I'm so sorry, I don't smoke," and I kept walking. And then later I was like, wait a minute, her cigarette was already lit. I think she was soliciting me for sex. But I didn't think about that till after the theater performance. I was like, that didn't fit right.
You should have been like, "No, but your dress is fabulous."
Yes, get it. Oh, I was so deep in the closet then, though.
Like in the back of the closet,
Like
where you put the shoes and you put the sweaters.
Yeah, I was wearing my Jinko jeans, which could, like, zip off at the knee because they were so baggy. I had, like, 3 pairs. One of them was... Maybe not the... It was the jeans you could get from Hot Topic. Where they were
ones with all the belts on them?
and the belts and the zippers.
Yeah, because those belts screamed and chains screamed that I'm straight.
You know what? I don't know what they screamed, but...
They screamed Larry.
They did. If I could... Man, I love
If you
those
could,
pants.
have them now?
Please don't.
No, please don't.
No, that...
That would be a worse faux pas than all of Jeff's cargo shorts. Wow. So, Larry, what was your favorite subject in school?
I bet you can guess.
What?
Art. It was art.
Art.
We actually took a field trip to Denver for art, too. That was cool.
Did you go to a museum?
We did. We went to an art museum, and we got to see all kinds of... It's when I first learned about installations, where it's art that just is put into a room, and it's not meant to stay there forever. It's literally like, I did this really neat thing with a room. Like, one of the installations was you rounded the corner, and there were all kinds of, like, painted knives and scissors and swords and stuff on the wall aimed at where you were standing. And so it was supposed to be like, oh, wow, ooh, scary. Ooh, spooky, scary. And another one was just, they literally just tied rubber string from the top of the ceiling to the floor and you had to walk through it. And other fun, ridiculous stuff. It was great, and I loved it.
I loved history. Like, just history in general, and also band. I know that's silly. I mean, being a band nerd, that's what you do. Like, it was a class. But though I liked those two. Those were my favorite. I still to this day love history. I like researching and finding out different things about history. And I still love music. I still remember all of my band directors. I think I had, over the years, in high school, I know I had two awesome band directors. My sophomore year band director was terrible. We did Motown as our marching band show. And then, okay, so get this. This is so funny. Anybody who knows about like marching band and like then you go to concert band. At concert band, you do three songs on the stage, and then you go to sight reading. And in sight reading, your band director is supposed to help you go through these two songs that you've never seen before.
Right.
Okay. So our band director, she was like, okay, take 2 minutes, because we only had 5. I think it was 5. Take 2 minutes, read over it. Okay, we had 2 minutes. We read over it. And she goes, okay. And she looks at the judge and goes, we're ready. All of us were like, what? No singing through the part, no doing anything. The judge got up from his seat, asked my band director to leave the room, started our time over, and we went through the song without her.
Wow.
And we got judged without her.
Wow.
She came back in. We had to do the second song because there's 2 sight readings. One march, one regular song. Or one song. She did the same thing. She said, look at it for 2 minutes. Go. And then she said, okay, we're ready. And at that point, the judge was just like, are you going to give them more time? She's like, no, I think we have it. He's like, you don't have it. He did not let us play.
Oh.
We did not play that second song, and we got the lowest score for sight reading.
Ow.
She was a terrible director. 2 weeks later, she quit.
Well, I mean, that just sounds rough.
Oh, it was terrible. And then we got one of the best band directors in Florida, Jeremy Langford. He's even still a family friend at this time.
I know Mr. Langford.
You do know Mr. Langford.
Yeah.
He was at, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, those were 2 of my favorite subjects. I mean, Jeff, what was yours?
Do you know mine?
I'm going to say
PE
science. English. Band.
Well, yeah.
Gym.
Band was one of them. Gym, no.
What
But
was
I
it?
thought you were a varsity
Art?
athlete.
It doesn't mean I liked going to gym.
No, I hate going to gym in high school. I'm glad marching band counted as my gym credit.
That's not how it worked for us. History and band.
Okay, so we had the same.
I have a degree in history and a minor in music.
What?
I'm working on one for design.
But why specifically those two?
I wanted to be a history teacher. Mm-hmm. That was my original goal, was to be a history teacher.
You can still do that.
I know I can. I dropped out of education when I was doing college because I was like, I'm not feeling it right now. So I still have my bachelor's in history. Mm-hmm. And then I was in band in college, and I was like in chorus. So I was like, well, I might as well get credits for it and just get the minor.
Might as well get it.
Might as well get the minor. So I got the minor in music.
Oh, fun.
I mean, I feel like that's a well-rounded degree. That's a good reason to use your degrees.
I've never used it.
I mean,
I forget I have it.
how many people actually do use their degrees?
I have a
for what they
master's now, and I
for?
still don't use that. So
I mean, it is what it is.
if anybody needs someone for cybersecurity, let me know.
I mean, hey, Jeff needs cybersecurity. Larry needs graphic design. I will take anything. If you're out there. So, in school, I was in a lot of clubs. Like, I'm talking like clubs. Like so much on like I remember my senior year, they take the yearbook pictures all on the same day. Well, my senior year, I just happened to be in a lot of the clubs. I was a teenage Republican, and a young Democrat. Now I am a much older Democrat and not a Republican. Because when I was in school, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I wanted to have both views. So you can see me in the young Democrat picture and the teenage Republican picture. But you can also see me in every other club picture. And you can point me out because I wore the same thing. Because it was the same day. I was also an officer in all of those clubs. So I sat on the front row of every picture. So...
Boy, you just loved responsibility.
I loved responsibility, and plus it made me not have to get a job when I was in school. My parents were like, "You're just in so many clubs. You just don't worry about getting a job."
I still had to get a job.
I did not.
I got a job because I wanted to buy stuff.
I was an only child, so I was given stuff. But yes, I was in multiple clubs. What club was I in, Jeff?
Farmers Club.
I was in the Future Farmers of America Club.
He was in Farming Club. Guys, he was a farmer.
It was I was not an officer in that, though. I do have to say, I was not an officer in FFA. There were other people.
He was in Farming Club.
Yeah. I was probably one of the only people in that club that didn't wear jeans that cut off the circulation to my nether regions.
But you were still a farmer.
I was in Future Farmers of America, which is a great organization. It helps people a lot even today. But yeah, FFA was one of those clubs I was in since middle school. Like, that was just a thing. It's how I showed pigs.
You are a farmer.
Bum, ba-dum, ba-bum. Don't sue us.
You didn't finish it.
Yeah.
Bum, ba-bum.
Oh, fuck.
No.
So, babe, what were you in school?
Gosh, I don't think I was in it. We didn't really have a lot of clubs.
Please never do that again.
Like, I mean, apart from like the different school groups, like the Troubadours Choir and stuff like that.
You were in show choir.
I was in show choir. I loved it.
Your mom says that you were amazing. The Troubadours were amazing.
We had something. But honestly, the one like club that I was in was and you know about this, the LARP club.
Was that actually at your school?
No, but we wanted it to be, and we tried getting one of the teachers to like sponsor it because you needed to have like a teacher be the like chaperone for the meetings, and like nobody wanted to do it because they were all either busy or just had no idea what we were talking about. So we would just like after school on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would just in the park behind our house, we would bring all of our foam and PVC pipe weaponry, and we'd have games, and we'd beat each other up.
I have played with
I wonder why
their group of people.
And that was one of the reasons they're like, this is encouraging violence.
Yeah.
We're like, but you also have school-sponsored football.
It was a really good stress reliever when I played with them.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And I would recommend anyone who has a LARP chapter in their area to sign up and play. And my brother actually still runs it.
Yeah.
Oh, in Colorado. They're doing a lot of like distancing and wearing masks and stuff during it, but he still runs it. Jeff, were you in any clubs?
I was the president of Science Olympiad.
I can see it.
Thanks. I was... That's really all I did. I did Science Olympiad in high school. I was in band. Band took up a lot. Band and track took up so much time of my day that... And I was in the symphonic band, the wind ensemble, the concert band, the marching band.
What instrument did you play?
I'm a percussionist and trombonist. I was in the jazz band.
He was a tromboner.
I was in the pep band. I was in if there was a band at school, catch me in there. I was there somewhere. I took 2 band classes senior year because I dropped Spanish. After I only needed 2 years. No, you only need 2 years of Spanish in order to graduate. So as soon as that second year of Spanish came, I was like, "Mom, I'm not taking Spanish anymore." And she's like, "No, you are." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I took band and chorus that year, and then I dropped chorus, and I picked up 2 band classes. AKA, one of the bands was just me hanging out at my band director's desk, just doing homework that I didn't want to do at home or anything like that, because I was playing video games. I'm still super close with him too. We talk all the time. College, I made the Frisbee Club on college. I made the pep band at college, which turned into a class and we started getting credit for, because there was actually no band at my college until I showed up.
You brought the band with you.
I did. I just wanted a pep band. But then the chorus director, who was awkwardly our band director also, but he was a composer, so he knew band stuff. he said, well, we'll just make it a class instead so we can get people to sign up. And I was like, okay. So then I got credit for just chilling.
Wow.
I made the educators group with some of my friends. We made a club with that. And I was also part of NSC, which was the new social engine, which promoted like fun alternative activities to drinking, like to not drink. So
right.
For underage people, like we would rent out movie theaters in the area and show like movies. We had something called Funplex nearby, which was just like it was like one of those indoor amusement park type things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had Fort Fun.
Yeah, so we had that. We would do activities on campus. The one I was in charge of was Humans versus Zombies, where you would have your Nerf guns and you'd have your zombies. And there'd be one person who'd be like the OZ, the original
Patient
zombie.
Zero?
Yeah, and they could tag people and turn them into... There was a whole website for it. It's a whole thing. It's actually a national thing. And then they turn people into zombies, and slowly everyone would keep dying. But we do missions every night, and I was in charge of it. And I was unrelentless to people. Like, I was not nice if you were coming in. There was one point where... Because you could do socks, throw socks as like a stun thing for zombies, to stun zombies. But I decided to give myself sock hands, so I could put the socks on my hands. And if a zombie tried to fucking kill me, I'd just knock them. I was not nice, but it was a lot of fun.
For you.
A lot of people, like, they had to keep calling me back after I graduated because they didn't know what to do. And I was just like, guys, I literally wrote something. I'll see if I can find it. It's the HVZ Bible. And I had it actually bound as a book that had all the missions and all the rules and everything I've ever did in it. And I gave it to them. And I said, here, now you don't need me anymore. And then they lost it. But apparently it's resurfaced. Lately it's resurfaced, and I know where it is. I'm trying to get them to send it to me.
Oh, that would be cool. I'd love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I want it now, because they're not using it. I don't think they play... I still think they play it, but not to the extent that we were playing it. Like, I had some games where I had almost 200 people participating in the games.
Wow.
Yeah, and it would just be... Because they... I have it... I'll send a picture of it. I have an orange bandana that was the Humans versus Zombie once, and it said human or zombie, and you flip it to whatever you are. If you're a human, you wore it on your head, and if you're a zombie, you wore it on your arm. So you would walk around, and you would just see, like, definitely during like HVZ time, there'd just be all these kids with Nerf guns walking around, because you had a Nerf gun and you could shoot a zombie to stun it for 5 minutes when you shot a zombie. So you'd have all these people just walking around with Nerf guns on campus. You go to class, and like 10 kids in class would just have Nerf guns like in their backpacks or next to their desk or something like that. Yeah,
that sounds like a great experience.
That sounds really fun.
It was fun. And it was stressful, too, especially because I did the missions at night. And like I said, we were on an old campus with a mansion, so we had grounds and stuff like that. So there'd be missions. There was one where it was in the back of the mansion. And the mansion had a fountain in the back, but it had stairs coming down, and you could come in from the sides. You could creepily come in through the garden part, or you can come in on the other side. And the goal was for them to get something that I had in the middle, but I had all the zombies there. So they had to fight through the zombies to get to the thing. It was awesome.
That sounds really cool.
My goal was to kill everybody all the time. I had a Lord of the Rings mission just for you.
Oh.
So since we're talking about our school age and everything, and because educators are amazing and they do help, like, they did help us all grow up, and you know what I mean? Like, let's quickly name, like, just go ahead and shoot through it, like, your favorite teachers from when you were in school.
Oh, okay. Mr. Goodwin. He was our math teacher.
Next one.
Oh.
I said rapid fire.
I can't remember names. Art teachers that I've always had. My Spanish teacher, Senora Hay. She was great. Mr. Trotter. He was a great history teacher. My AP English teacher in high school, I got like a D- in that class, but that was one of my favorite classes I've ever taken.
Didn't do well.
No, I didn't. I'm terrible with names. If someone's like, hey, we worked together for 5 years, what's my name? And they cover their name tag, I'm like, you're Stacy? I think.
I can name my favorite teachers. I had Miss Metz in elementary school, and then in middle school, I had Mrs. Veal. She has passed away now. I also had Mr. Tomberlin, which is Mrs. Metz's brother, and then in high school, I had Mrs. Cloud. I also had Mrs. Everett and Jeremy Langford, who was one of my band directors, and David Christensen, who was one of my band directors. Again, Mrs. Cloud was one of my all-time favorite teachers. There was just so many teachers, for me at least. And then Jeff, what about yours?
Mr. Maripodi was my first band director. Mr. Quam, the one I still hang out with, is my last band director. Mr. Santucci was one of my best history teachers. And Mr. Jarvis was my track coach / anatomy teacher.
So thank you, educators who helped us become the adults that we are.
Yes, thank you.
We are going to tag you, hopefully, on Facebook. So that way you can listen to this post so we can tell you how much we adore you.
Yes. And the theater teachers.
I didn't have any theater teachers.
Theater, when I went to school, was we called it Defense Against the Dark Arts, because every year we had a new teacher.
Why? That's no fair. They actually taught you Defense Against the Dark Arts, as a fun story?
No,
they named it that because they got a new teacher every year.
Oh, I was like, they did a fun
I was wondering why you gave me that look.
You're not Harry Potter showing right now.
No, I thought that's because in college my best friend had a literature class where they read books about serial killers. That was what they did as their literary stuff.
Oh.
And I thought,
no, he was saying
that's
they had a new teacher every year.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, that's not fair. I wanted that.
Well, let's talk about some of our favorite vacations, guys.
Yes, favorite vacations. I loved we would try to go to Disneyland all the time.
We went to Disney World a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm from.
We went to Disney World.
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey.
I've never been to Disneyland.
Oh yeah, you've never been to Disneyland. My parents' thing was that it had to be somewhere where we could drive because my dad didn't like to fly. So we only went up and down the coast, but only as far as North Carolina.
What's your favorite vacation?
That was I said it.
Oh, just going up and down?
Yeah, just going up and down because we do things we go to cabins in North Carolina, and we'd go to beaches up and down the coast, and it was always fun. Daytona is something we did a lot of, and that was always fun because I like the beach.
Yeah. We also went to Washington State a lot, and that was super fun. We would get steamed clams and stuff up there, and we'd take the ferry across to the one island, and the West Coast.
Sounds yummy.
Oh, it was. It was so good.
What about you, Jeff?
My favorite vacation is when we went to Colorado and we went to Beaver Creek.
I know Beaver Creek. Yeah.
But I have been to Colorado multiple times.
I know it well.
Much.
Nobody I know in Florida has ever been to Colorado.
I'm not from Florida.
He didn't say
I'm
from
New
Florida.
Jersey.
He said in
Florida.
Florida.
Yes, I've been to Colorado multiple times in my life, and I love Colorado.
Isn't it great?
I've actually
beautiful.
mentioned to you that I've been to Colorado before, but that's awkward.
Yes.
Well, that's
And
a
you've been to
shame.
Colorado with me.
Yeah.
You
But
just
I was
said you
there
knew
with
no
you.
one in Florida who has been to Colorado.
Outside of this room now.
But we're
Patrick's
also
been
married,
to
babe.
Colorado.
We weren't at the time.
No, and then we were.
Oh, so I'm no one? Bum, bum, bum. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
I almost died in Colorado.
Ooh,
Scary
tell
thing.
that story.
We were going ATVing in the mountains.
Ooh.
And I had just got my permit. I was 16? Yeah, I was 16. So I was able to drive it by myself. And I'm the one who wanted to do it. And my mom didn't want to go with us that day, so she stayed back. So it was me, my little brother, and my dad. And we're going. My brother really wanted to ride on my ATV, but my dad wouldn't let him. So he was riding with my dad, and we're going across the mountain. And we get to this part where you have to turn right because it's a cliff. It's essentially a
Yeah,
cliff.
no, the Rockies are sharp.
It's essentially a cliff. And I'm going, and I hit a rock, and I'm a 16-year-old scrappy little kid, and it just turns my ATV to the left. Whatever bump I hit, it just whoop, and I go right off. And when they say your flashes before your eyes,
Those 16 years went whoosh.
yeah, they went real fast all of a sudden. And I just remember I let go of the gas. I didn't hit anything, and it just landed and stopped. And my brother was freaking out, and my dad was freaking out, and the tour guide came. And he came down and he got me and he got the thing back up there. And he looked down and he said, "You see that?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "See how that angle down into those trees down there? If you had kept going, you would have crashed in there. We'd be airlifting you out of there right now." And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Well, this is fun."
Oh my goodness.
And then it started hailing because it's Colorado.
Yeah.
And I made it back okay. And then we didn't tell my mom about it until later that day. And then she got real upset and real mad. But I legitimately almost died flying off a cliff.
Wow.
Oh wow.
But I still love Colorado and I want to go back.
We want to go back to Colorado. We want to see family and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Casa Bonita.
Oh, I just want food.
Now
The
I have to go
tea
there.
place.
Now I have to go there now. I haven't been there.
The tea place. I'm
Oh,
gonna go
yeah,
back
Celestial
to.
Tea. Oh, that tour was so great.
It was fun. I think that has changed now.
But what were your guys' days at home like when you were a kid?
Honestly, if it was a school day, I'd wake up like 2 hours before we had to like actually wake up. And this was either so I could finish homework I didn't do the night before, but more often than not, it was so that I could play video games before we had to get ready for school. Then we'd go to school, I'd come home, I'd try to do my homework, and then I would play more video games. And the weekends were the same, only without school.
Oh my gosh.
See? Life hasn't changed.
I feel like my days were completely different. Like, I remember I would wake up. I usually had to ride the bus to like high school and not high school, to middle school and elementary school, and then I drove in high school. Wake up, go to school. I felt like I was there all day. Mm-hmm. And then I probably wouldn't get home until like in the evening, because I would have like football practice my freshman and sophomore year. And then I always had band rehearsal. March band rehearsal was always, till like 8 or 9 o'clock. I would come home. I would say I had no homework, and I would go to bed or watch TV or text on my Nokia phone when I got older. I know, right? But in high school, I was always busy. Elementary school, I always did like Cub Scouts and T-ball and baseball and stuff like that. Middle school, I had band rehearsals, that kind of thing. So like I did a lot in school. I don't regret any of it. Like I was always busy, and my summers were like actually felt like summers because I didn't do anything. I stayed at home, and like my parents and I, we did stuff, but like I would play in the yard when I was a kid, Mom would make me breakfast, mostly cereal. Just because it was too early.
Fair.
Or I'd beg her to take me into like middle school or high school so we could get breakfast. So I didn't have to eat breakfast at school. I mean, mine was pretty chill. Like, I just wasn't home a lot when I was younger. Mm-hmm. What about you, Jeff?
In high school specifically, I would wake up, go to school, go to track practice, go to band, get home, not do homework, and just play video games till like 2 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep for 2 hours, 3 hours, wake up, and repeat every day.
I had to have like sleep. I was in bed by like 8:30 or 9 when I was younger.
I never ran on much sleep. There was one time, I was obsessed with World of Warcraft in high school. There was one time where my friend and I were playing WoW, and we were in a dungeon, and I looked at the clock all of a sudden, and it was 5:30 in the morning, and I said, we should probably go to bed. And he was like, yeah. So we left the dungeon and went to bed, and we had class together like first thing the next day in the morning, or the same day. We had class in like a couple hours, and we were just there. And I just remember him sitting there with like his hood up, and he was just like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, yeah, that was a bad idea. But then we do it again the next night.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes, and you're living that video game life.
Hashtag video game life.
Hashtag video game
So
life.
think on that same line of like you would rinse and repeat. What would you like? We're gonna go real top 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race right now. What would you tell little Larry Tucker right now?
If I were to tell myself, it would be like what you're feeling is normal, and you're gay. You are, and that's okay. Also, try harder in school because you like learning, and know that the way you learn is different because it's hard for you to focus on specific things. Like, you're not, like, you have to try, but things will feel different just because of how your brain works. And if you just know that now, you're going to be doing so much better later. That's what I'd tell myself.
Jeff,
Don't-
what would you be telling little
Don't
Jeff?
eat the Dr. Pepper ribs from Chili's. Because they'll give you food poisoning and jumpstart your ulcerative colitis.
Ouch. Oh, I feel bad for laughing now.
No, it's funny. Probably focus more in school. Because I'm not a bad student, but I didn't care at all.
No.
I could have gotten much better grades than I did get, so probably should have. And a third one?
You don't have to pick 3. You can just tell.
I just did 3 because I like breaking
you said
things.
you said 3.
No, I
I
didn't.
thought you did.
Oh, no, he said top 3 as in, like, when it's down to the top 3 contestants on Drag
I
Race.
don't watch Drag Race.
Jeff doesn't. Oh gosh,
don't watch
we just
Drag
lost so
Race.
many listeners.
I mean, I love Drag Race. It's my favorite thing.
In the top 3 or the top 4 of Drag Race, they all have the baby pictures, and RuPaul brings it up and says their boy name instead of like for instance Bob the drag queen. His name's not Bob, but he goes, "What would you tell little whatever Bob the drag queen's real name is?"
And a third one would be keep running. Just keep working out and stuff. Don't stop. Because I feel more relaxed when I'm running. It's where I clear my head, so.
Good things, all good things.
Those are all good.
I'll let the
things.
gay thing be a surprise. I'm not going to spoil it.
Spoilers.
Well,
I don't know. I think I would tell little Alan to come out earlier. For me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I come out earlier. Stop pretending with girls. You should have stayed in ballet, even when your dad said to leave and go to Boy Scouts. You should stay in ballet. Also, make sure you work for Disney sooner. Because you could have met him sooner.
Aww.
And also that it'll all be okay. No matter what happens, no matter how soon things happen, it is all going to be okay.
oh, and there's a pandemic coming.
Yeah, girl, there's a pandemic.
Turns out to be a weird year.
2020.
You in danger, girl. You in danger.
2020's gonna suck.
2020's going to mess you up, but at least you have a house to live in.
I mean,
This
yeah.
is true. At least it's not a 1-bedroom apartment. But yeah,
Well, that was a fun slice of life.
Yeah.
slice of lemon life.
If you guys want to share any of your fun stories of your childhood with us, you can always email them to us at gigglesandgays@gmail.com. You could tweet it to us
Giggles and Gays on Twitter.
and you can Instagram DM us, slide into our DMs. Ooh.
You can slide into our DMs on Giggles and Gays.
Or you can just post on Facebook to us at Giggles and Gays. We're very easy to find.
It's a good thing we're consistent.
and,
Gays being easy. Who would have thought?
and you can find us on any place where you listen to a podcast, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're not there, tell us.
In any of our DMs.
Any of them.
Slide on in.
Because now Facebook and Instagram, they're kind of like the same messenger now.
Faceagram,
Faceagram.
Instabook.
You could also slide into their DMs if you want to.
Mine is at ginger_prince_charming.
And then mine is ARXRYL on Instagram and everywhere, really. Also, if you're voting early, voting has started early in many states and many places around the country. You've probably seen it all over your social media. Hey, register to vote, get out there, vote, vote, vote. If you haven't come up with a plan or at least an idea of when you want to do it, get out there, make sure your voice is heard. Make sure, because every voice is important. And we want to make sure that your voice is heard out there and that you're making your choice known. But thank you so much for giggling and reminiscing with us. We're Giggles and Gays. I'm Larry.
I'm Ellen.
And I'm Jeff. And you guys, keep calm and giggle on.